Yo guys, Haku here with my series review of the One Punch Man anime. And I'm a bit late on this, but so if you're watching this, you've probably seen 90 other One Punch Man reviews, but this one is mine, so it's different. But seriously, I came into this hearing great things about the anime, of course. It was huge. Pretty much everyone covered it and loved it. Just had a great time with this anime, so I was excited going into it because I figured it would be good. So kind of like I said before, based on the hype from it and the fact that it's done by Madhouse, who pretty much always does really great work, I figured that this would be good. Didn't know how good, but I figured at least it would be good quality anime. So the basic storyline is that it takes place in a world full of heroes and monsters, and there's a hero named Saitama, just a hero for fun, who goes around and defeats monsters, and he became so strong through his training that nothing's even a challenge to him anymore. He defeats everything in one shot, and he just doesn't... He's looking for the excitement of a good fight, but nothing is any sort of a challenge to him. Now, going over the characters that I thought were important to the series or important enough to give my thoughts on, of course there was Saitama, and even though he was like super supremely powerful, whatever, he was still relatable. He was written to where, like, when he talks about everyday stuff, it really felt like, oh, I know what you're talking about, Saitama. Like, you could kind of feel for him and resonate with the character. Even though he was such a powerful character, just the normal person watching could sort of like see themselves in him, which made him a really good protagonist. And when you go into it thinking, okay, this guy defeats every enemy in one hit, how can it be exciting at all? I feel like the depth with the character... And it's not like some super deep... This was an action comedy. It wasn't like super deep, artsy or anything. But his character itself really was something that I think fans could see themselves in. Now next is the cyborg, Genos. And I love Genos. He was an awesome character. I really loved how his attacks and fighting moves looked. They were really well animated, and I thought the art style of them was really nice. That said, I wasn't as like always hyped about him as a lot of other people were, but I did really enjoy the character. And then next is the bicyclist for justice, Moomin Rider. And Moomin Rider was a very enjoyable character to me. He wasn't very pervasive in the story, but when he was there, I thought he had this really nice sort of inspirational feeling about him. And it always had the good comedy bits as well. It was always funny and still told a decent part of the story. Next up is a Mai Mask, and I might get some hate for this one, but I thought a Mai Mask was all kinds of boring. As a character, I felt nothing but like, why is he even in the story? Like, the only parts we got of him in the story were really pointless, and just the story could have been the same or better without him. He did nothing. He added nothing to the story, really. Now, there are a couple exceptions that were, like, noticeable, like Stinger or Sneck, or there were a couple that would show up here and there that were important below S-Class, but most of the heroes below S-Class that I haven't mentioned already were just not important and just didn't really do it. They were just scrubs. The bowling pins that got knocked down at some point or another. That said, I'm going to talk about the more important characters, and most of those are S-Class heroes, then a couple like enemies and stuff. And first up is Pretty Prisoner. And Pretty Prisoner was probably one of my favorite characters. Just every time he showed up, I laughed so much, and like, it was hilarious. He was such a good character, and even being a joke character, when he was in a fight, I was always rooting for him. I was like, come on, show them you're not just a joke character. Do something cool. So I really enjoyed Pretty Prisoner, and in the end, they were probably one of my favorite characters. Just good comedy, good action. Next up is a fan favorite, Metal Bat. Now, for me, Metal Bat was enjoyable, and I really liked his character and wanted to see more of it, but we didn't get a lot of the character, so at least for this season, the character was enjoyable, but not like a huge deal because we didn't get a lot of him. Next up is Atomic Samurai. He was really cool and worth noting, but not that huge in my eyes, but he was cool enough to note. And next is Silver Fang Bang. And Bang was one of my favorite characters. Just something about the random old man just fighting everyone off and taking the one hit from the transforming guy with the weird name, from him taking the hit with Mezelgold and surviving. He was a really cool character. I liked him from when he first showed up, and a lot of that too, I think he reminds me of Killua Zoldic's grandfather from Hunter x Hunter, which is another really fun character. I don't know why he reminds me of him in particular, but he did for some reason. Either way, enjoyed him, Silver Fang Bang. And next up was my favorite character, the sassy lost child, Tatsumaki. And Tatsumaki was just... I enjoyed everything about her. I mean, the design looked good. I mean, Dadass. Dadass is inspirational. It is worth watching the anime for. So, Tatsumaki, yes. And her personality was hilarious. Her powers were really cool. Bringing the meteor down on the, whatever the dinosaur ancient king type guy was. That was really funny and really cool. And the way she argued with everyone was hilarious. And I really like her voice actor. I've heard her voice actor other places before. I think she was Kaname Madoka from Madoka Magica. Either way, really like the voice acting, really like the character. Tatsumaki was a good part of the story. Next up, we have Speed of Sound Sonic. And when I first saw him, I really did not think I would like Sonic at all. I thought, oh, here we go, another just generic emo bait character. You know the sort of character I mean, where they're just like overly stereotypical, just I wear black and have really edgy personality and power combo. It's just, I thought it was going to be like one of those characters, and I was really surprised by how much I really liked Sonic. Sonic came to be one of my more favored characters from this series. Next up is my favorite antagonist from this, which was the Sea King. The Sea King he felt really evil and dangerous. He had this really dangerous feeling to him, and just the way he threatened the children, took out the smaller heroes one by one. He was, in my opinion, a really good antagonist and really enjoyable in his part of the series. And that brings me into something that I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for, but I thought Lord Boris was just kind of silly. I thought he looked silly, and he never really seemed like that much of a threat. He killed all those people, but we didn't personally see him killing anyone. The only person we ever saw him really fight at all was Saitama, and we knew that he wasn't going to win that, so I didn't feel the danger from Boros. I just really didn't think Boros was a very good antagonist. He just kind of showed up, and that was it. The entire thing his character did that was so evil was he showed up. In showing up, I think he crushed a city's worth of people, but we didn't see any of those people. We didn't get any sort of feeling or emotion for him killing them. So in the end, Boros was kind of two-dimensional to me. Didn't like him as an antagonist. But even then, Mezelgold, the little shape-shifting, regenerative guy that Boros had as his subordinate, I liked Mezelgold a lot more. I thought he was a way cooler antagonist, and his design and abilities were a lot cooler looking, a lot cooler in concept and practice, and I thought the fight with him was a lot more exciting. Man, I know I'm gonna get hate for that, but a lot more exciting than the Saitama and Boros one, just because in the Saitama and Boros one, it was just Boros flashing lights everywhere, and then Saitama just taking it and wrecking him again and again. which was awesome on the Saitama side of things, but I just never felt anything on the Boros side of things. I just never felt much for him at all as an antagonist. He just showed up for an episode, got taken down an episode, and that was all we really got. Throwing in a bonus one, Mosquito Girl was all kinds of sexy. Needed more Mosquito Girl. But just joking. And from that, I'm going to go on to a little bit of a breakdown of my thoughts on the series as a whole, and then give it my score. So I thought everything about One Punch Man was nearly perfect. The soundtrack, the animation especially, the animation quality is one of the best I've ever seen. Really competes for being the best that I've ever seen, but I'm not sure if I would say 100% that it is the best, because I have seen a lot with what I think is really good animation and really special art style, and given its art style and its animation, it's One Punch Man's definitely up there as one of the tops that I've ever seen. It's really, really enjoyable, and I think it really works. The overall plot of the series was great. It was really funny. It was really exciting. Yeah, really exciting. I don't know why I thought I messed that word up. Maybe I did. But watching it, some parts of it seemed almost episodic, but I kind of liked that. It really wove well into itself and was good. It was good in a linear fashion. Like, the story was straight point A to point B, and it got there really well and was really funny and enjoyable the entire way there. Now, the soundtrack, one of the best I've heard in a very long time, and I think the biggest part of that is it fits. It fits the show so very well. The soundtrack for One Punch Man it really matched what was going on, and it felt really natural for the show. And that's something that a lot of anime just have this generic sort of background music, but One Punch Man's was really unique and fit it well. And going from that, I'm going to talk about what I thought was the best part of the series, and that was character design. The character design was all kinds of unique without being too silly, and it's a really good balance that it had with not being too silly, but being really, really unique. And a lot of the character design choices reminded me a lot of Hunter x Hunter, bringing that up again, done by the same studio, but there were a lot of things reminiscent between the two. One Punch Man was a bit more serious and realistic in character design, even though some were like just silly looking monsters. I would say that One Punch Man's character design and its uniqueness in that is probably one of its biggest selling points. Throughout this entire series, I had but one complaint. There was one complaint that I always found with One Punch Man, and that was the ending theme. Oh my god, it was like, all the rest of the show was amazing, like brilliant, 10 out of 10 amazing, and then the ending is like 2 out of 10 just terrible. The music and animation, neither one fit the show whatsoever. They had nothing to do with the actual show. It was so off. And I'm sorry if you guys like the ending theme, but and since it's just an ending theme, I don't really view it as taking away from the series as a whole, because you can always just skip past it if you're marathoning. I never skipped past it, I don't think, but I just really didn't like it. I didn't think the music didn't fit the series at all. The animation had nothing to do with the series at all. It was bad. Like, the ending theme was not good, and I didn't like it any episode. So with the one bad part out of the way, I want to talk about, like, what if I had one word to describe One Punch Man, I would call it refreshing. It was just so refreshing to see an anime that didn't go for just a cheap plot that's already been done, or just boring moe, or fan service everywhere. It did its own thing. It was, again, saying unique. I feel like it really breathed some life. I don't know if that was the right choice of words there, but it really sort of rejuvenated anime for me. Even though this season and next season, I'm not really seeing anything new that's coming out that's really particularly good or interests me a lot. But One Punch Man, I feel like, was a breath of fresh air in sort of a stale anime time that we're in. Like, there's maybe a few good ones that come out each year now, and then those few good ones are in just a sea of generic I'm trapped in a video game, or hey look, there's voice crack, hey look, there's boobs everywhere, or there's a useless male character surrounded by a harem of slightly less useless female characters. It just, One Punch Man was just this island of good that's in a sea of shit that we're getting lately. Not to complain about modern anime, because I still think there is some really good stuff if you find it, and there will likely continue to be some really good stuff. It's just that it seems like companies are putting out more and more just generic stuff. Just stuff that they think, okay, little kids will want to watch this for the boobs. Don't know what I was going for there. But yeah, getting off topic. One Punch Man was super creative, and that's something I really appreciated in a world of anime where some are really creative and a lot are really generic. So in the end, I'm going to give this a score of 10 punches out of 10. I mean, if I didn't give it a 10 out of 10, it'd be kind of ridiculous, because it was it was probably the best anime of 2015. I almost feel like I'm having trouble saying that, because I haven't really thought about all the other stuff I watched as much, but it was really great. It was really well made, and it had a lot of heart put into it, and I think a lot of anime needs to take that lesson of doing something creative, doing something unique, and putting your heart into what you make. So anyway, guys, like if you liked it, share with your friends, comment down there if you thought I was right or if you thought I was wrong. Just tell me what you thought of what I thought, what you thought of the series. I'm always willing to hear what you guys have to say, even if you think I was wrong. Of course, I can be wrong. This is just my opinion on it. Follow on Twitter for updates. Subscribe for more anime reviews, at least one a week. More Tower of God, Walking Dead, One Piece. Lots of stuff, just random stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed sincerely. Thank you for all of the support, and I will see you guys around.